Wow, what a great crowd this morning. Good morning to all. Beautiful view. Weather is awesome for an event such as this, the FRG Symposium that I think is critically important. And as Alicia said, I am Tom James. I am the commander of the 7th Infantry Division, and I'm honored to be with you today on behalf of my boss, Lieutenant General Lanza. And first off, I want to thank the Family Readiness Liaisons, the Family Readiness Group advisors, and the company, troop, and battery leaders. I want to thank you for being here because this is critically important. Now, I'm not sure how many soldiers join the Army to be a Family Readiness Liaison. It's probably not an MOS that you're pursuing, but I do want to thank you for what you do because it's critically important, and I will talk about that here in a second. And the Family Readiness Group advisors and leaders, you probably have some other things that you could be doing right now, but you're volunteering your time to be here to help us build readiness. And we got to do it now because the ADAG, which is where we consolidate to get on airplanes to deploy to combat, you can't give out readiness there. It requires us to do it now to prepare for whatever may come. I think that's very important. And a special thanks to Alicia Grady, who just talked to us, Pamela Allen, and Darlene Pacheco, former 7th ID warrior, Hua. Absolutely. And the entire team here from the Joint Base for putting on this event. You know, I like the motto that I saw, one team, one goal, the way ahead together, we make a difference. I think that's pretty cool, and especially given the Olympics theme, where we're talking about the rowers here, because it really is an important piece that we all row together as we move forward. Now, I got to share a story with you. So, September 11th, 2001, 15 years ago, Lieutenant Colonel James was a battalion commander in 137 Armor, Friedberg, Germany. It was in the afternoon. And we were conducting a command and staff meeting, and we were planning our trip to Grafenwehr to shoot gunnery. And everything was good. It was going to be a 30-day deployment, and we would be back with our families 30 days after to share war stories about how well we shot at Graf. And then the staff duty came in to me in the XO and said, we had 2 airplanes just plow into the World Trade Center, plural. And I said, my goodness, that couldn't be the case. So I sent out the major to check on it because I thought maybe they were watching a Superman film or something. And that wasn't the case. That really happened. And oh, by the way, it was 15 years ago Sunday, as you well know. And our whole world changed. Within 2 hours, we had 400 soldiers with ammunition and weapons posted all across the Friedberg, Butzbach, and Gießen areas, guarding FRGs, guarding housing areas, et cetera, because we didn't know what was going to happen next. And then several months later, we found ourselves deployed and executing Operation Iraqi Freedom 1. Obviously, the fight started in Afghanistan even before that. And so the whole world changed. And so why do I tell you that? I tell you that because we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. And our Chief of Staff of the Army, General Milley, has 3 priorities for our Army, and the first one is readiness. And he talks in terms of soldier and family readiness, because our soldiers can't perform on the battlefield unless they know that their families are taken care of back here. Now, you all know the story, 580,000 active component soldiers. We're working our way down to 450, and so we're reducing our strength and structure and resources. And so we got to think of creative ways to maintain the systems that we have that are so important to readiness. And so that's why we're all here. I mean, the communication link between the chain of command, the FRG advisors and leaders, and the FRLs needs to be laser close. We have to be one team, one voice. As in the movie, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the movie Drumline, but my old boss, General Dempsey, when I was in OIF 1 as his G3, he used to always say, Thomas, one band, one sound. And so we are an orchestra here, and we have to be one band, one sound when it comes to taking care of our families. And I mean, if you're going to get in that MRAP and go on a combat patrol, you want to know that your spouse is taken care of back here. And we have the programs in place, but we just got to make sure it's all connected. And that the information flow is rock solid, and we know all the programs that are available. You know, it's not about fundraising and events. It's about communication and about knowing where the resources are when you need them. And I think in terms of when we were in the surge time frame, when I was a brigade commander in Vanguard, we lost 20 soldiers, and those care teams and all of those people and those agencies that took care of the family was remarkable. And I know that those systems are in place here too at Joint Base Lewis McChord. So we got to know that when we're called, we need to close our ranks and shoulder our extra load as a team as we move forward. Good communications is critically important. Keeping our families informed and educated about the activities available and the community resources available is really critical as we link into that. And with the budget shrinking, like I talked about earlier, we got to do creative things to make sure that that's all in place. And I know that we can do all of that. So I think it's very important. And then one last thing I would like to talk about is the third priority from our Chief of Staff is take care of the troops. That's how he summarizes that third priority. He says, take care of the troops always. Every day, we must keep foremost in our minds our soldiers, civilians, and their families. Our collective strength depends on our people. Their mental and physical resilience is at our core, and that's what these systems help build. We must always treat each other with respect and lead with integrity. Our soldiers are the crown jewels of the nation. We must love them, protect them, and always keep faith with them. And keeping faith with them is making sure that this system is in place and working. So those are my opening remarks that I wanted to talk about. Now I got a really cool opportunity to introduce the next speaker. And she really bears no introduction, but I want to do this. So I'd like to introduce everyone to someone who has enabled families to build readiness for nearly 20 years. She is an accomplished educator, author, advocate for military families, and expert party planner, of which I have been able to participate with. As an educator, her undergrad was with Wagner College, and her master's and PD are from St. John's in English, literature, and education. Now, I got to take you back to General Dempsey for a second, because he had his master's in English from Duke. And when I was his G3 and I was always writing things or I was speaking, I constantly got corrected on my Southern English. And so I get a little nervous when I talk in front of Mrs. Lanza because of her incredible education. Teaching at the high school and college level and all that you have done has been amazing. She's an accomplished author. She wrote a book of poetry called Confetti, which I think is really cool. And she's been an advocate for soldiers and families her entire military career as part of General Lanza's career. You know, she's taught at Army family team building, spouse club boards, advisor to the Historical Society, president advisor to the Scholastic Committee, worked with all kinds of programs helping and enabling our soldiers. But what I like the most is her constant smile and the core first lady that I've known for the past year. So, ma'am, if I could pick you up, introduce you to this great audience, please give Mrs. Lanza a round of applause, please.